Hey there, Alejandrina here. Okay, so this is a little bit of a two for one, a little bit about anxiety and a little bit about you. Here's the part about you. You are not alone if you are watching this and you are watching it because you're experiencing or have experienced feelings of anxiety and you want to know more. You are also not alone if you are watching this because you have a family member, somebody who you love and care about who is really struggling with anxiety. So this is what the statistics tell us. For adolescents, that's age 13 to 18, about 1 in 3 will experience some kind of anxiety before they turn 19. 1 in 3 adolescents, that's a third of some classrooms pre-COVID, will have experienced some level of anxiety before they turn 19. And actually, those rates have been rising recently. And that's a whole nother video we don't have time to get into today. But know that adolescents are not alone. And this continues into adulthood. So it's estimated that in the United States, 18% of adults have experienced anxiety or feelings of anxiety, and 1 out of 10 in the world. As a therapist for over a decade and experience prior to that with children, youth, and adolescents, I have no doubt that the numbers are probably higher than this, especially now during this time of COVID. I have no doubt just by seeing an increase in the number of women that I am seeing in my outpatient family and the impact that COVID has had on families in general, that these numbers are far higher right now. But what the statistics tell us, what the information tells us from different places is that it's actually a pretty high number of people who have experienced anxiety at some point. Sometimes issues related to mental health are things that we don't want to share with somebody else, right? We don't want to talk about it because despite how far we have come, there can still be a stigma associated with having something that seems outside of the ordinary or outside of the norm. But sometimes that ordinary or that norm is not what is actually happening in the world or in the US. It is just what the perception is or what our perception is of those around us. And side note, social media doesn't help as we're seeing everybody's highlight reel and we are not actually seeing the lows that come in between that are common for every person that I have met in my life. So if you know someone who has absolutely no lows, send them my way so that I can get some information about what they're doing if they're over the age of 15. But in my experience, everyone experiences highs and lows regarding different things and related to different things. But when we're comparing ourselves to what it is that we see on social media, on the media in general, it can be, or it can make us feel like there's something wrong with us. But the facts tell us that anxiety is something that many people are experiencing. Think about how many people you pass when you go into a store pre-COVID days, right? If you're watching this, it is now July 2020. Not sure when you're watching, but we're in the middle of this global pandemic that has many of us indoors. So I want you to think back to prior to that. I would imagine it's far more than 10. And if we had everybody line up, we could have 1 in 10, if it were people from all around the world, just take a step forward and have some understanding of where you're coming from and what you're feeling. And if it was just people from the United States, it would be almost 2 out of every 10, 18% of people would step forward and say, hey, I have experienced that reaction from my mind, from my body. When I'm coming into a situation that is new, that is stressful, or that is seems to be dangerous. And it impacts me. It impacts the way that I live my life and what I do or what I don't do. So here's the thing. Anxiety affects a lot of people. and you are not alone. Or if it's not affecting you and you're watching for your family member and it's hard for you to understand exactly what they're going to or going through, know that they are not alone. There's others who are going through the same thing. Please feel free to reach out with any questions and let me know. How does it feel? Did you know that the rates were as high as I'm sharing here? Or is this new information to you? What do you think? Thank you.